month leads to an arrest today. Or Mike McKnight was there as a motor vehicle homicide suspect was brought to jail in Sarpy County.
A terrible scene along a residential boulevard about 1 in the morning Friday, October 11th. That's a 2021 Ram pickup wrapped around a tree in the Westmont neighborhood, and 2 friends had been in the vehicle. The passenger, 26-year-old Juan Guillen, died at the scene. The driver, 37-year-old Wade Harvey, has recovered from injuries, and he has been arrested for felony motor vehicle homicide.
Is there anything you want to say about the arrest today or what happened?
No, sir.
Okay.
The warrant affidavit states a preliminary breath test showed Harvey's blood alcohol level more than twice the legal limit, but his arrest came almost a month after the crash. That's because Sarpy County Sheriff's investigators allege Harvey refused to comply with a search warrant to measure alcohol in the blood at the hospital, which he can do by invoking his right to an attorney. So investigators gathered more evidence about the crash before getting an arrest warrant. The arrest affidavit says that a nearby home security camera captured the pickup going at a high rate of speed. Then there's a loud acceleration, followed by the sound of a loud crash, the pickup hitting the tree. Wade Harvey faces a charge of felony motor vehicle homicide. Speed and alcohol alleged factors in losing control of a pickup that was no match for a tree. On your side in Sarpy County, Mike McKnight, 6 News.
Harvey may go before a judge to have his bond set either tomorrow or next week.